Hi, this is Jillian from Offshore Management Training, where you're gaining tips and tools on how to manage your team from a distance. This week is going to be a part 3 of the series about traveling to India, specifically to Gurgaon, India, which is where my remote team is located. And what I want to talk to you about today is not getting sick. So, Indian food is like one of my favorite types of food. I think it's absolutely delicious. However, India is notorious for people getting very, very, very sick. My first trip there, I'm pretty sure I had dysentery. Had all the symptoms. I was a mess for a full 24 hours. And then in my subsequent trips, I would get sick every single time, just to a lesser degree. And only on my 7th trip there did I not get sick at all. So the first mistake that I made is that during my first trip, since I loved Indian food, I was so happy to be there and have authentic Indian food. And then also within my office, there's this thing where like you don't want to be a wuss and say you can't handle the Indian spice. Like there's definitely like a proving ground. Like, oh, I can handle the spice. I cannot. I have since been humbled, and I tell all Americans who go over there, like, don't play that game because you're going to lose. Everything in India is spicy. So I remember during my first trip, I was getting sick of all the spice. It was really like upsetting my stomach. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to get a salad. Would you know that that salad was spicy? Then the next day I was like, okay, I'm just going to do like a pizza. The pizza was spicy. And then the next day I was like, okay, for breakfast, I'm just going to have some plain old eggs. The eggs were spicy. So the level of spice there is just unlike anything we've ever experienced in the US. And so if you're going to try to handle it, I mean, you can do that, but just know I most certainly paid the price. Another mistake that I made is that when I got there, or even before I got there, a lot of people were telling me, oh, like, it's great that you love Indian food, but stay away from street food. And so I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I would never eat food off the street. Like, I don't really eat too much food off the street in the US. I was like, so now to do that in India and like not knowing like where the water came from and it's probably not filtered, I was like, no worries, I'm not doing street food. A couple of my colleagues said, hey, we want to take you out over the weekend. We're going to go to Ambiance Mall, which is one of the big malls there. So I was like, sure, I'd love to see an Indian mall. We go in there, and in the mall, there was a restaurant called Street Food. And so I was like, oh, great. Like I wanted an authentic Indian experience with street food, but like I know that my stomach can't handle food from the actual street. This is a wonderful compromise. And I sat down there and I let my colleagues order for me because I didn't recognize anything on the menu. I didn't recognize anything that I ate. Lots of green sauces and yogurts and different color stuff. And I ate it and I enjoyed it. And then the next day we went to the Taj Mahal, which is a 4-hour drive from Gurgaon. And so going there, my stomach was fine. At the Taj, my stomach was eh. On the 4 hours back to the hotel, I was okay up until the second we pulled into like the hotel like driveway area. And I had to run from the car to my bathroom in my room. And that bathroom is where I stayed for the next 24 hours. The mistake that I made is that when people said don't eat street food, they weren't referring to food from the street. They were referring to the stuff that I ate, which is referred to as street food. It's a certain like type of cuisine in India. And so I didn't even think to get clarification. And also I thought I do have a stomach of steel, and India rips through my stomach of steel. So again, with the food, don't be a hero. Stick to what you know. Another major mistake that I made is I drank filtered water there. So in our old office, we had this filter that was mounted up on the walls, very official looking. And every day I would drink a lot of water from it. I'm big on drinking water. I try to drink 64 ounces per day. And I was trying to do that in India. I think something was wrong with the filter, or whatever they're filtering for doesn't tease out the chemicals in the water that actually make Americans sick. And I later learned that that's what makes us sick. It's like the water. So the water's in the vegetables, the water's in either in the vegetables or when they rinse off the vegetables, it's on it. And it's in the food that they cook. So I thought I was okay with the filtered water. I wasn't, because this last trip I did nothing but bottled water and my stomach was absolutely fine. So don't trust the filtered water. Only drink bottled water. The only exception to that rule is at the hotel. At the hotel, I can brush my teeth with the tap water. When I'm taking a shower, I can open my mouth. I have no issues at the hotel, and also no issues at any of the restaurants that we go to. So the restaurant is in a hotel, you're pretty good. And if the restaurant is just really nice and like a little bit on the fancier side, you're fine too. So I really think it was that bottled or that unbottled water, that filtered water, that was messing me up before. So again, last time I had a successful trip, and I'm hoping that moving forward, all of my trips are this successful in terms of my stomach remaining as is. So once again, this is Jillian from Offshore Management Training, near or far, manage like a star.